this is the emotional support line for coping with COVID. If you're in need of someone to reach out to talk to, please feel free to use this helpline. Next slide, please. And as a reminder that the transition to pre-K summit, the registration is now open and available. Please join them as this transition to kindergarten is important for our VPKers as they head into the public school, into the kindergarten, world of kindergarten. Next slide, please.
Yes.
And tomorrow, the ELC will be
I can't
helping
hear you.
host. Give me, if everyone could just give me one more give me a pause for a second while I send a message. Sorry, many apologies. I'm not very good at being able to do two things at once. Sorry, so tomorrow we'll be helping host our Children's Week event. It's a little different because of COVID, but it'll be a drive-through event from 9 until noon. There will be books. Farm Share is helping provide some food to give away. So please, if any of our families can make it out there, please stop by, pick it up. Any images that you post to social media from all the goodies that you get from there, please tag them ELC MDM so that we can see them on our feed. And I'll put that hashtag there in the chat as well. Next slide, please. And for eligibility, I'd like to introduce Ileana Vallejo, who will give us some updates. Good afternoon, Ileana.
Diana, I believe Isabel's going to present.
Okay, thank you. Isabel, can you hear us now? Are you able to present? Lisa, why don't we skip eligibility until the end while Isabel is working on connecting? All right, and for inclusion and assessment updates, let me welcome Eileen Swazo, who will be presenting today. Good afternoon, Eileen.
Good afternoon, Diana. Thank you so much. My name is Eileen Swazo, and I'm here to give you some updates regarding the most important and prevalent screening changes that are going on. And as always, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat or feel free to reach out to us. We have our contact information at the end of the slides. Next, please. So OEL has introduced an option for families to complete the Child Developmental Screening, which is the ASQ3 and the ASQ SE2. This is new for everyone across the board, and it starts as of today. So families, when they are completing their either new enrollment information or their redetermination enrollment paperwork on the family portal, they will be asked to complete the screenings themselves. If the family chooses to complete the screening themselves, then they will go ahead and do so online, and eventually those scores will be available to providers as well once we go in and approve them. If the family chooses not to complete the screening but instead defer to providers, they will have an opportunity to do that from the get-go, and then the provider will be responsible for the screening as usual. If the family chooses to complete the screening on their own, they will have 5 days to complete that screening. If they choose to complete the screening and do not complete it within the allotted 5 days, the screening will then defer to the provider automatically. And then the provider will have the remaining 40 days to complete the screening. If the family declines the screening, then the screening will never come up for the provider or for the parent. They do have that option as well. Next slide, please. Okay, so as you can see again, as of March 31st today, changes have been made as well for the mandate. In the past, we have always had a screening required to be completed within 45 days of enrollment in the school readiness program. That remains the same. So as you'll see, the initial screening within the 45 days of the signed payment certificate will remain. The change comes with the annual screening. The annual screening will now no longer be during the child's birth month. It will be during the annual redetermination paperwork. So the same process that the parent goes through with their initial enrollment, they will go through with the redetermination. And if they do choose not to do the screening, it will defer to the provider. The next change is that the screenings are now to be entered in the statewide provider services portal. You will no longer be going to the old portal, what everyone called the old portal, or the ELC MDM provider portal to complete the screenings. You will now go to the statewide provider services portal, or AKA the new portal, to complete your screenings. Next slide, please. In order to get to the screen to complete this, these are the steps that you must take. You need to log into your portal, and then you need to click these where the arrows are pointing, which is enrollment, manage SR enrollment, preschool development, developmental screening. And if you choose to view your incomplete screenings, you can click on incomplete. If you want to see any screenings for children that have been completed on this portal only, or any pending screenings, you can also do it via the search button. So I have a couple questions come up. I don't know if we want to leave those to the end, Diana, or do you want me to address them now?
Please go ahead and address them while it's fresh in everyone's mind.
Sure. So yes, you will have noticed that the old portal, or the ELCMDM portal where you were previously entering screenings, is no longer available to you. You will not be able to enter any screenings as of today, moving forward in that portal. Everything has shifted to the statewide system, so you will not be able to enter them there. However, your access to the portal will remain. So you will be able to enter to complete anything else, whether it's for the CARES program or any other initiatives that are being handled in that portal. You will continue to be able to enter there. But anything regarding ASQ will not be handled there unless, for now, you have to enter a corrective action plan. Other than that, there's nothing that you need to enter there. If you had, I think another question was regarding a screening that you may have had pending in the old portal. So the only screenings that you have to worry about that you had pending in the old portal are the screenings that were new enrollments within the last 45 days. We are going in manually as of this afternoon. We have a staff member going in to manually add the request for screenings for any new enrollments that were still pending for the last 45 days. You do not have to worry about any birth month screenings that were still pending, only new enrollments. We will be providing you with adequate time, so you will have 45 days from today to complete those screenings that were still pending from prior enrollments. And again, it's those that we're going in manually to complete. It's only about 100, a few more than 100 that we're going in manually and adding to the portal. And you will see the screening link available to you within the next coming days for those screenings. Other than that, you will only see screening links required for children that are enrolled or redetermined, or the parent signed a payment certificate as of today on. You won't see any for prior new enrollments unless they're in that 100 plus that we're adding manually. I hope that answers that question. So to answer Ms. Ulrich's question, you do not have to worry about the birth month ones. That is no longer a requirement, so you will not see the link for those. I do want to reiterate, if you have a concern for any children in your center and you don't have a link to be able to enter a screening for them, please reach out to us either at the warm line email or at the ASQ email or by phone, because we definitely want to be able to provide you any adequate intervention or follow-up services as needed. Do parents still need to sign the consent form? The parents are signing the consent forms when they complete the process for enrollment. So they are either consenting to complete the screening themselves, consenting and deferring to providers, or declining the screening altogether. Those are the options that parents have. You no longer have to, and I'm going to get to that in a second, but you no longer have to print the results, but I'll get to that in a minute. Many parents are being redetermined every 3 months and not annually. Do those children need to complete a screening every 3 months? Yes, we've been instructed by OEL that every time there is a new enrollment, you will be asked to complete a new screening for that child. And that is generally for children who are on referrals. So a lot of times those are the BG ones that you're going to have to screen more often. So whereas now you're not going to have to screen those in the birth months only once a year at redetermination, you will have to screen a little more often for those children that are redetermined on a 3-month basis. Yes, you will see the names of the children or the links for the children that you are required to complete a screening on. But the only way to do that is to enter into these tabs that are up on your screen right now. We are working on a report in order for us to pull to continue to send you those notices that we send twice a month to remind you for upcoming screenings. So you should have those seamlessly coming within the next 2 weeks. Yes, if you do not see a link, you are not required to complete the screening. Remember that parents may have completed that screening and we have to work through to make sure we approve those screenings before you see the results for those. So if you're not being asked for a screening, you do not have to worry about completing it. I think that I've gotten through the majority of the questions. So next slide, please. Okay, so I just want to go over a couple of the more important things that we wanted to highlight. So these are live links that you're going to see on your provider portal in order to complete the ASQ3 and the ASQSE. When you see the link, it means that you have 45 days of the first day that they were placed there with that link. So that's why it's very important, and we recommend for you to please go in once a week, especially now as this is transitioning, to assure that you're getting to those screenings as soon as possible. The ASQ3 and the ASQSE2 continue to be the same version. So if you have an ASQ kit for either of the 3 or the SE2, you do not have to upgrade it. You don't have to worry about getting a new one. It will continue to be the same questionnaires. Results are available for parents on the family portal. I know this is huge for a lot of providers. You no longer have to print the screening results and provide them to the parents. The reason is that those screening results will automatically be placed on the family portal, either by us releasing them, or if there are no concerns or any scores in the monitoring zone, they will automatically go to the family portal. So any family that's asking you for results, you should definitely refer them to their family portal, because that's where they'll find their ASQ3 and ASQSE2 results. Emails notifying you of upcoming screenings will continue. So we are working on putting those reports daily and making sure that you continue to receive those emails from us, letting you know that you have an upcoming screening due. Please, I recommend that you do those screenings as soon as you have the link available. Do not wait until the last day to complete the screening, because we definitely do not want you to be late. We will continue with our notice of non-compliance if you are past due on the screenings. And lastly here, I want to reiterate for you to please watch the YouTube videos that OEL has released. If you haven't had an opportunity to do so already, we did put them on the blast that we sent out earlier this week. I know they're continuing to go out, so please, we recommend that you watch them. They will give you a step-by-step guide as to how to get to these screens for you to complete the screens. Next slide, please. Lastly, I want to go over the fact that we're going to have a Zoom event on Friday. This is meant to be a Q&A in English at 12 p.m. This Friday. I know that some of you are out because it's Good Friday. We wanted to get this out as soon as possible, and this is the earliest that we could do it. We do intend on having further ones. If it goes well on Friday, we will have the opportunity to host additional ones, and we'll let you know about that during a blast. But this is the Zoom information. If you're able to join us, it's going to be very informal. I will show you the screens and how it looks. But other than that, I just want to be able to answer your questions and go over any concerns that you have. Next slide, please. So this is the information for both our director and for myself. I highly recommend you emailing us. It is the quickest and easiest way for us to get a response to you, the fastest way to get a response to you. But if you would like to call us instead, please go ahead and do that. We're more than happy to guide you and answer any questions that you have. Let me go to the chat because I think there's a few more questions.
Just have 3 more questions in the chat.
Okay. What if we already use ASQ assessments in EHS? Do we also have to continue to do them separate for ESC, 45 days, etc.? I don't believe that you will be asked to do a secondary screening for EHS, but I will definitely confirm that and get back to you, Ms. Mota. Let me write down your name. Okay, and then besides receiving an email, will we see upcoming screenings due on the portal? Yes. If you follow through the tabs, you will end up on the last one where it says incomplete. If you click on that one, and you'll be able to view any screenings that are upcoming for you. So any screenings that are not yet done that you have a link for will appear on that screen. And so that's why I recommend you going in once a week to see if you have any upcoming. But a good point of reference is your redeterminations or new enrollment. So if you keep up with that already, then you'll know every time you have a new enrollment or a redetermination, you'll know that a screening link will appear on that screen. Why wasn't this made mandatory for the parents to complete ASQs? We cannot make it mandatory for the parents to complete it. This is a new mandate in order for us to provide the accessibility to parents to complete, but they're not required to complete it. Unfortunately, we can't do that. So we do give them the option to complete it. And I can tell you as of this morning, in the first 2 hours of the day, we did have 3 parents already complete it. So this is meant to ease the work that providers have to do. And obviously the screener is a parent screening. So, if they do complete it, this is something that you won't have to do. And just to confirm, it's ASQ3 and ASQ SE2. Yes, it is now the ASQ3 and the ASQ SE2. If you don't have access to the SE2 screening, you will be able to print it out from the portal. You will have access to it there. So the link will take you directly to the screening, and it's no longer going to be the bubbles that you're used to in entering. It's just the pages for the questionnaire. So you'll be able to see each question that's available to you, and then you'll be able to print it as well. What if you see a child on the
Thank you, Aileen. Any remaining questions, we'll address them at the end of the presentation or through the online on the Q&A that we post on the website.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
And now we'll continue with eligibility. Hello, Isabel.
Am I okay? Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for your patience. The computer has been a challenging today. So on behalf of eligibility, next please, we are To all of you that we have open enrollment. There is no waiting list. And every 2 weeks, the families that have already been predetermined to be eligible for a school readiness are being invited to complete the application. Please share with the community and your parents at large. Thank you. And in the screen, you see the information. Next, please. It's a reminder that as of tomorrow, the system requires that parents must accept the services certificate, and they have to click in and do electronic signature in order for the services to appear in the attendance roster of the providers. It is essential that that occurs in order for us to prevent any negative impact of timely payment. And I'm sure that if Mr. Hernandez is presenting today, he will be reminding you of the same thing that I just did. Also, next, please, remember that we have sent information to everyone, both parents and provider, that we have in English and in Spanish a tutorial video that shows you how to go through the steps of signing the certificate. So also the parents that are not signing yet are getting every 5 days a reminder through their individual portals from the system that their service certificate have yet to be accepted. We are doing a step-by-step the directions on how to do it. And if that is not clear, please feel free to call our call center, and we will have one of the call agents walk you through with the parent. Next, please. This is the video that I was mentioning before, where you have a tutorial in English and in Spanish, where not only the parent, but if you are the one assisting the parent, you will be able to read it and go along with them to sign for the certificate. And what I'm suggesting is that those children that you still don't have in your attendance roster, when the parents come to either drop the child or pick them up, please take the time to invite them into your office so that can be expedited. Thank you. Next, please. We have wonderful news. Because of some of the challenges that our families are still facing as a result of the pandemic, we have received an extension from the Office of the Governor and from our funder, OEL, where three of the waivers have been extended until June 30th. Those 3 waivers are allowing job search as a purpose of care for the families who are applying in the waiting list, allowing job search for the families who are redetermined services and or being processed for the first time, and the number of hours that used to be a minimum of 20, if they have less than 20 hours, and they are able to give us information either from receiving unemployment or from their former employment that the hours have been reduced, we will be able to process it even with less than 20 hours. Please, providers, share this with the parents, because some of them that were denied before when these waivers expire, a month ago, now they have been extended. So it may be a wonderful opportunity for them to reapply. Next, please. Thank you. On behalf of Eligibility, I will remain on the call available to answer any questions. And since I'm the only one from my team right now, I'm going to go back to the chat and start responding to those. Diana?
Thank you very much, Isabel. And I'd like to welcome Marianela Reyes from Contracts to go over some updates. Good afternoon, Marianela.
Thank you, Diana. Good afternoon, everyone. This week, we just have a few updates. Next slide, please. First, we'd like to remind everyone to complete their 21-22 profiles. Most providers have already been activated. We currently have approximately 200 still pending. So when you log into your portal, that your 22 profile is in active status. If it's not, make sure you get in contact with your contract manager or just complete and submit your profile to make sure you have everything that's required. We are now accepting fall 21-22 VPK applications. So we're currently waiting for the Office of Early Learning to publish the school readiness and VPK contracts. In the meantime, we ask for your cooperation to avoid any delays in contract renewals. It's our hope that we'll receive all of your fall VPK applications by the end of April. And lastly, changes to your contracts that require an amendment will now be electronic, as we've said the past few meetings. They're going to be completed in the provider portal, and we'll go over those steps again today. Next slide. So for your electronic amendments, the system is going to email you when an amendment has been initiated, so that way you'll be notified that this is something for you to complete. So you'll log into the portal, click on contracts, manage contracts, and then you'll find the amendment that is being, the contract that's being amended, and you'll click the plus sign on the left side, and it's going to open up the amendment for you. Next slide. You will click on the right side, edit, and then follow through clicking next step. You'll review all your information to make sure it's updated, and then you'll sign by clicking the by electronic signature button. Once the amendment has been certified by the coalition, you will receive another automated email message letting you know that it has been completed. Next slide. This is, again, our contract manager assignments, since we did make a few changes. And we just want to give one last reminder regarding the temporary closures due to COVID. Please ensure that you are notifying your contract manager of any closure within 1 or 2 business days of closing and within 2 business days of reopening. Many providers are just notifying or just submitting their closures in the portal, but we need you also to notify your contract managers. That is all for contracts. Back to you, Diana.
Thank you very much, Marianela. And with this, we conclude our English portion, and we'll head straight into the Spanish section. Let me just, buenas tardes, and thank you everybody for joining us. You are welcome to stay for the Spanish one if you would like to hear the information again in Spanish, or add a question to the chat. Buenas tardes y gracias por unirse con nosotros para nuestra reunión de los socios de educación y cuidado temprano. En el chat tengo el enlace para poder descargar esta presentación. Por favor, descárguela, que tiene mucha información para ustedes. Next slide, please. Estas son las fechas, perdón. Estas son las fechas que vienen de nuestras reuniones importantes. En abril 5 es la Junta de Directores y el 29 de abril es el Comité de Servicios para Proveedores. Next slide, please. Estos son los representantes para los proveedores de nuestra Junta de Directores. Por favor, descargue esta presentación y ahí tendrá un poco de información sobre ellos, más el email que puede usar para contactarlos si tiene alguna pregunta o quisiera contactarlos para cualquier razón. Next slide. Y otra vez le damos este número para apoyo emocional si necesita ayuda con lidiar con el COVID y necesita hablar con alguien. Next slide, please. Recordándoles que la registración está abierta para el transición hacia kindergarten para los niños que están saliendo de VPK hacia kindergarten. Next slide, please. También mañana, abril 1, vamos a tener un evento que es de manejo, que uno no sale del carro. Para nuestro evento que normalmente tenemos en esta época para Children's Week. Por lo de COVID va a ser un poco diferente y es en el Museo de los Niños, mañana abril 1 de las 9 hasta el mediodía. Y pueden pasar por ahí y recoger libros para los niños y FarmShare va a ayudar con cajas de comida. Next slide, please. Ahora quisiera introducir a Isabel Afanador para darnos unas actualizaciones de elegibilidad. Buenas tardes, Isabel.
Gracias, Diana. Buenas tardes a todos los proveedores. Muchas gracias por dejarnos volver a hablar con ustedes en el día de hoy. A nombre de elegibilidad, quisiera comentarles, por favor, la próxima, que tenemos la matrícula abierta para los niños que necesitan ayuda con cuidado infantil. No hay lista de espera. Cualquier familia que cualifique está recibiendo una invitación para completar todo el proceso de aplicación cada 2 semanas. Entonces, por favor, compartan esta información con todas las familias. Recuerden que aún para añadir un nuevo hermanito necesitan aplicar a través de la forma original. Gracias. Próxima. De que nuestro sistema cambió a partir del 1 de abril, o sea, mañana, todos los niños para que puedan aparecer en su lista de diaria de atención a la escuela, los padres tienen que haber previamente aceptado y firmado el certificado de servicios. O de lo contrario van a seguir recibiendo mensajes que hoy él les está enviando cada 5 días, recordándoles que falta que firmen. Si la familia no acepta el certificado, ustedes no podrán verlo en la lista diaria de atención a su programa. Por favor, es esencial. Próxima. Estamos recordándoles que los padres reciben no solamente el recordatorio de que no lo han firmado, pero también se les ha hecho disponibles instrucciones de cómo firmarlo a través del sistema, a través de videos tutoriales, tanto en español como inglés. Esos videos están accesibles a los proveedores y a los padres. Las únicas excepciones que no tienen que firmar ese certificado son los niños de alto riesgo, lo que llamamos el BG1, o los niños que reciben servicios por BG3R. Por favor, recuerden a los padres, ustedes saben qué niños están yendo a su centro y qué niños no aparecen en la lista, y por lo tanto, cuando los padres o los custodios van a recoger o a dejar al niño, por favor, invítelo a su oficina y ayúdelo a llenar esa información. Próximo. Aquí está como recordatorio donde pueden encontrar el video tutorial para ayudar a los padres y a ustedes mismos cuando los están guiando a los papás. Próximo, por favor. Tenemos maravillosas noticias. Hemos recibido de OIL que con la aprobación del gobernador, 3 de las exenciones que ya habían terminado han sido extendidas hasta junio 30 de este año. Esas 3 exenciones son usar búsqueda de empleo como aprobado para aplicar a la lista de espera, usar también búsqueda de empleo como razón aprobada para las familias que se están redeterminando y que las horas que antes eran un mínimo requerido de 20 horas han sido reducidas, siempre y cuando el padre o la madre nos pueda enviar documentación de que ellos están recibiendo beneficios de desempleo o que el empleador anterior tuvo que reducir sus horas o tuvo que dejarlo cesante debido a la epidemia, podremos darle servicios con menos de 20 horas. Esto es maravilloso porque quiere decir que los padres tendrán derecho de seguir recibiendo servicios sin tener ese mínimo horas de estar trabajando. Y si ustedes tienen algunos padres que sus servicios fueron terminados, por favor, recuérdeles que pueden volver a aplicar bajo estas nuevas exenciones que nos han sido otorgadas. Como de costumbre, si ustedes tienen alguna pregunta, por favor, no duden en llamarme a mi teléfono que está conectado. Mi extensión es 2059. O si no, envíenos cualquier pregunta a info@elcmdm.org. Siempre dispuestos a ayudarlos. Gracias por su atención. Diana.
Muchas gracias, Isabel. Y ahora quisiera introducir a Nevis Valdés, que nos dará unas actualizaciones del programa incluyendo ISQ. Buenas tardes, Nevis.
Muy buenas tardes a todos, gracias por su atención. Ahora vamos a hablar acerca de algunos cambios relacionados con el ISQ. Next slide, please. A partir de hoy, 31 de marzo, OIL está proporcionando a las familias la opción de completar el ISQ3 y el ISQ-SE de forma electrónica al momento de finalizar la inscripción en el programa de School Readiness. ¿Qué significa esto para ustedes como proveedores? Básicamente, las familias tendrán 5 días para completar la evaluación en sus casas o enviarle la responsabilidad al proveedor. Si ellos eligen posponer la evaluación, entonces la opción de evaluar les aparecerá a ustedes en el portal del proveedor. Y ahora en el próximo slide les vamos a mostrar dónde encontrar los enlaces para estas evaluaciones. Next slide, please. ¿Cuándo y dónde hay que completar las evaluaciones? En el próximo slide le mostraremos dónde encontrar el enlace. Tenemos no más de 45 días después que comiencen los servicios de School Readiness para completar los ISQs. Y de nuevo, cada año durante el periodo de la redeterminación. Básicamente, los padres, cuando acepten los servicios, tienen 5 días para decidir si van a hacer ellos mismos las evaluaciones, si se la van a enviar al proveedor o si prefieren que sus niños no sean evaluados. Después tenemos 45 días para que se completen las evaluaciones y de nuevo durante el periodo de redeterminación. Ya no ingresará las evaluaciones en el portal de proveedores de EOC, que es el portal antiguo, solamente las va a poder entrar en el portal nuevo de EFS. Next slide, please. Ok, y aquí es donde podrá encontrar, una vez que los padres deciden que quieren que ustedes hagan las evaluaciones, puede entrar al portal nuevo, donde dice Enrollment, Manage SR Enrollments, entra Preschool Developmental Screening, y donde dice Incomplete, ahí puede encontrar el listado de las evaluaciones que tienen que completar, y si da clic en Search, ahí va a encontrar todas las evaluaciones que ya han sido completadas. Next slide. Aquí tenemos unos tips de cómo mantenerse al día con los ISQs. Les recomendamos que revise el portal semanalmente para ver si le ha llegado alguna evaluación nueva. Vamos a seguir utilizando la misma versión de los ISQs. Los resultados estarán disponibles para los padres en el portal, así que ya no es necesario que impriman los resultados, que se lo den al padre, que los padres firmen. ya ese paso lo podemos eliminar. Ellos pueden obtener los resultados directamente en el portal. Vamos a seguir trabajando para que reciban sus notificaciones por el correo electrónico avisándoles que se les está, que les viene, que pronto se les vence alguna ISQ. Y también le notificaremos si hay alguna falta de cumplimiento después del primer día de falla. Le hemos enviado videos por correo de cómo, a todos los padres de cómo llegar al portal y cómo cómo completar los screeners. También le hemos enviado videos a ustedes, pero como siempre nos pueden contactar con otras preguntas. Next slide, please. El día viernes 2 de abril a la 1 de la tarde vamos a tener un Zoom donde podrá ver paso por paso cómo completar y cómo acostumbrarse a todos estos cambios. Next slide. Aquí tenemos el contacto de la doctora Anabel Espinosa y Aileen Suazo. Ellas son las encargadas, las coordinadoras encargadas del ASQ y las mejores personas para responder cualquier pregunta que tengan acerca de estos cambios también. Muchas gracias por su tiempo. Creo que ahora viene contratos.
Muchas gracias, Nevis. Apreciamos mucho tu tiempo. Y ahora quisiera introducir a Jessica Parra, que nos dará unas actualizaciones del Departamento de Contratos. Buenas tardes, Jessica.
Gracias, Diana. Buenas tardes a todos. Esta semana el Departamento de Contratos tiene algunas actualizaciones. Nos gustaría recordarles que completen sus perfiles del 2021-2022 si aún no lo han hecho. Quedan aproximadamente 250 proveedores pendientes por actualización del perfil. Verifiquen que su estado de perfil esté en activo. De lo contrario, pónganse en contacto con su manager de contratos para asegurarse de haber completado todo lo requerido. Ahora, en estos momentos estamos aceptando aplicaciones de VPK FOB para el 2021-2022. Actualmente estamos esperando que la oficina de OEL publiquen los contratos de School Readiness y de VPK. Mientras tanto, le pedimos por su cooperación para evitar retrasos en las renovaciones de los contratos. Esperamos recibir todas las aplicaciones de FOB VPK a finales de abril. Los cambios en su contrato requieren enmiendas electrónicas ahora y serán completadas por el portal de los proveedores. Repasaremos eso en pasos hoy. Next slide, please. Una vez que su manager inicie la enmienda por usted, el portal le mandará un correo electrónico. Esta es una señal para iniciar una sesión en el portal para firmar y enviar el amendment. Inicie la sesión en el portal, hágale clic en los contratos, luego administre contratos. A la izquierda, en el signo de más, va a encontrar el contrato que está siendo enmendado. Next slide, please. A la derecha, le va a hacer el clic al botón de editar para abrir la enmienda. Revise la nueva información haciéndole clic a siguiente. Haga clic para marcar la casilla y firmar electrónicamente. Hágale clic a enviar. Una vez que la coalición certifique la enmienda, recibirás un mensaje de correo electrónico automático. Next slide, please. Tenemos un último recordatorio sobre los cierres temporales debido a COVID. Asegúrense que notifiquen a su manager de contratos de cualquier cierre dentro de los 2 días hábiles posteriores al cierre y dentro de 2 días hábiles posteriores a la reapertura. Si tiene alguna pregunta, envíele un correo electrónico a su manager de contratos. Recuerde, su manager puede haber cambiado. Esta es la nueva asignación de managers. Muchas gracias por su atención. De vuelta a ti, Diana.
Muchísimas gracias, Jessica. Y tenemos una pregunta que nos queda aquí en el chat. Fue hecha en inglés, pero la podemos responder en inglés y en español. Y José, ¿estás disponible para responder?
Claro que sí, Diana. Buenas tardes a todos. ¿Cuál es la pregunta?
La pregunta la voy a hacer en inglés y después en español. In the event of a school closure, are we being reimbursed for SR and VPK students or no longer? En el evento que hemos cerrado en la escuela, ¿vamos a ser reembolsados por School Readiness y VPK o ya no más? Gracias, José.
La respuesta es depende. Si el centro está completamente cerrado, las instrucciones de OEL son que no podemos pagar a ningún centro que está completamente cerrado. Ahora, si el cierre es por un día aquí, otro día allá, por School Readiness, por ejemplo, School Readiness les paga por las 10 primeras ausencias, y si tiene algunas otras más en adicionales, pues nosotros le pagamos. Pero el centro completamente cerrado para los dos programas, la respuesta es no. VPK es un poquito diferente a School Readiness porque en VPK, VPK you can actually close one classroom and have the other classroom available. But in School Readiness, the system doesn't allow classroom closure. So you have to actually close one, you actually do it through the attendance. And that's basically the challenge there. But again, if you're fully closed, the answer is no. You need to actually be able to be open, and the center needs to be open, although that you might have some classrooms that are closed. Hope that answers the question in both languages. Thank you.
Muchas gracias, José. Thank you, José. Bueno, si no hay ni otra, le daremos un minuto o dos a ver si hay otra pregunta en el chat, y si no, ya llegamos al final, terminamos un poco temprano hoy. Bueno, aquí no veo ninguna otra pregunta. Quisiera darles las gracias a todos ustedes por unirse con nosotros.
Gracias.
Gracias por unirse con nosotros y gracias por responder, por hacer preguntas, y mis colegas por responderlas. Thank you, Lisa. This meeting is now over.